All right, welcome back, folks. We are going. We're back. We're back. Um, and hopefully everybody pulls into the new chat room here.
I'll put a new or I'll put a thing in the chat.
All right, sounds good.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
All right, all right. So where were we?
Talking about the housing situation.
Yeah. So what do we do about the homeless? And I want to bring up Veterans Affairs as well.
Okay. We can turn around and we can build adequate homes for people. Like I said, between 2017 and 2018, we lost 5 million homes. Now, NASA created a concrete printer. And concrete is a lot cheaper than wood. And with these concrete printers, you can actually put a home up inside of a couple of days. And it'd be fire resistant, wind resistant, and pretty much flood resistant. Those would be far more. I mean, they're not going to be pretty, but they would be effective.
It's a roof.
Well, the reality is the homeless people aren't worried about it being a state-of-the-art place. They're looking for a place that's warm and dry.
Exactly. It's a roof.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. These things that this printer that NASA created is fabulous. They want to put it on Mars. Hey, why not field test it here? We got them. Let's use them.
Mm-hmm.
As for are we talking about the homeless veterans or the VA system itself?
I would say both. I mean, we're losing 22 a day to suicide.
I know a lot of people are dying to get in. And, this new Veterans Choice thing that Trump signed actually took all the homeless vets out of the VA system. You now have to provide if you want to go to a VA clinic and you live 100 miles away or more, you have to have a physical address to get, travel pay. If you want to get Veterans Choice, you got to have a physical address.
I gotta say though, it's actually Obama that started Veterans Choice.
Yeah, but you weren't required to have a physical address.
Okay.
It wasn't until Trump got in there and I saw it in the Army Times, and everybody said, "Oh no, that's fake news," and then it hit.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hit hard. 53% of veterans automatically lost mental and physical health.
Eric, can you clarify if that number you gave was per day?
Yes, 22 veterans a day.
That's about right.
With an additional 2 active duty a day that are committing suicide. And those numbers have not gone down. And it's been
the most alarming one is brothers in special ops.
Yeah.
Because they're burning them out. They're taxing the special ops people.
And
we need to revamp the entire. The VA system they're giving them $97 billion a year. That is like a drop in a bucket compared to what needs to be done.
Agreed.
They need to be at about $250 billion a year, and that's just the start. So we can give our veterans the medical care they need, they deserve. And we got to stop this idea that if we got doctors that can't get a license, that we take them and use them in our VA systems, or nurses that have lost their license or can't get a license. That's what we got working for us.
And
oddly enough, doesn't that sound counterproductive to other people?
What's that?
I said, that seems to be a bit counterproductive. If you take the ones that can't get a license or have had their license removed, and that's what you've got taking care of the vets, that seems to be counterproductive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's a lot cheaper.
Well,
cheaper doesn't, yeah, but these are your vets. Don't go cheaper on your vets.
No.
That's
practicality of it.
I want to clarify something for Craig in the chat room also. Do you think part of that is about the wars the U.S. is currently in with no direction or purpose? That's just a drop in the bucket, Craig, because I can tell you from experience, when you have the same units getting deployed over and over and over again, and you've got soldiers and high-ranking officers that have no combat patch, because they get out of going to combat. That's where a big part of the problem is. The other big part of the problem is the stigma the PTSD's got that will not get you help. You're told as a soldier that you're weak if you go get help for PTSD, and you have the other ones that you don't have PTSD, you just have an anxiety disorder. So we're not going to actually help you because you don't have the right label. That's a big part of the problem. So they don't actually get the help they need.
Well, in Special Forces, it's even worse because that stigma goes to the point where that if they're afraid if they say anything, they will lose their slot and they will be drummed out.
They'll lose their slot. They'll lose their promotion. They'll lose the next duty assignment they might want. There's a lot that goes into that.
And the dependents have been asking for help and telling them there's been things going on, and what they do is they wait for something to go wrong and then they kick them out.
Yeah, and
they burn them out and they kick. And this is because of an 18-year war. Look, I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you don't have an active military in 18 years, if you don't have an effective military in 18 years, you're not going to have one in 20 years or 30 years or 40 years. It's only until we get out of there and make them do it for themselves that they're going to have an effective military. Our people are still going there fighting their wars. This is not the United States military of Afghanistan. We need to stop this.
Totally agree.
We've been deploying our special forces beyond their breaking point.
I've got to say real quick, Alon's to Joe in the chat room. That's my Black Horse brother. And no, I totally agree. We don't need to go be the policeman of the world and go fix all the other countries. We need to fix our own damn country first.
Exactly.
Well, that'd be the first thing to start with, in my eyes.
Well, when you have
my understanding of the military, and don't get me wrong, I've always had the greatest respect for the military people. For the soldiers and what have you. But my understanding in the military, when things started, we got to go back centuries in this case, it was to protect the city that you were living in, or the country you were living in.
Right.
It wasn't to do a preemptive strike to make sure that somebody else didn't.
Right. Exactly. This was never a doctrine in the United States. This is something that started blossoming about the time when I was in. When we started going, actually it was back when I guess it started back in Vietnam, in Korea. But this is not a war that we need to keep fighting. This is a war that's on them. This is up to them.
What they don't understand is the Middle East has been at war with each other since biblical times. It's not going to change. And this country,
we can stay there for free. We could stay there for 100 years and it's never going to change.
No.
Well, the sad reality of it is that they will change in time.
But we're not going to change it.
People keep feeding military in there. No, you keep replacing the soldiers, and you'll keep the fight going.
As long as we are in there, as long as we're willing to fight, they're not going to do it. I spent 13 months in that area. I know these people. And I'm going to tell you exactly what the Saudis said. We will let them spill their blood and until they win this war, and then we're going to push them into the sea. That's how much they wanted us there. Just so we'll fight their war for them. And when we win, they wanted us gone. And when we did, they wanted us out. Literally, they nearly pushed us all into the sea.
Well, I know this. I just want to be clear that this is my opinion. It's got nothing to do with anybody else's. But you go back a couple hundred years to the military, and the people that were at the head of the war were the people at the head of the country.
We're supposed to defend this country.
Yes.
We're supposed to be here to protect our cities, our states, from acts of aggression against us. Now, if our allies are being attacked, yes, we're supposed to help them, and we're talking about NATO. Okay, but we're not supposed to fight their wars. 18 years is too damn long in anybody's book. 10 years was too long. Okay, 10 years was too long. This is the longest war in the history of the United States. I mean, a Revolutionary War and a Civil War didn't last that damn long to put together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is nuts. The point is that, our people are burnt. We're now in the third generation over there. Our third generation is over there now.
And I've got to add to the terrorists we see today, we created.
Oh yeah.
When we went into Iraq in 2003, the Iraqis initially were excited, but when months dragged into years, and we're killing what we see today as adults were kids back then, and they are losing their parents, they're losing their grandparents, they're losing their families due to drone strikes, due to false accusations of being terrorists, which they weren't. That creates terrorists. It did the same thing in Somalia. And
this started in '91 when Bush Sr. stopped us from taking him out of power, Saddam Hussein out of power in '91. We knew damn well that this was going to backfire on us. A lot of guys were sitting there saying they were watching gunships mowing down the Kurds and the Shiites and begging us to help them, and there wasn't a thing we could do. I mean, what if you're standing there watching a fully militarized unit standing there, watching you getting shot to cat manure, how would you think about them the next time you saw them? We have a history of doing bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a bad history of that, making bad decisions, doing the wrong things in the wrong time.
Okay.
When they went back over there in Iraq, that was a lie. What they went over there for, anybody that served in the Gulf War could have told you. He did not have nuclear weapons. He did not have chemical weapons. We know we destroyed any possible capabilities they had.
In 91.
He would have never had it that length of time.
We destroyed that in 91. 1990,
Yeah.
1991 is when we destroyed any chemical weapons they had.
Exactly. So Bush lied to get us back into Iraq for oil.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Afghanistan was the one that we knew that Osama bin Laden was in Afghanistan, and we went into Afghanistan at first. We sent special forces troops in there, and then Bush decided he wanted to go in Iraq, and he started shifting all the weapons and ammunition away from them, leaving them on horseback, scouring around trying to find bullets and weapons from wherever they could find it, because they weren't getting supplied. And as Bush said, I'm not going to move hell and high water for this man. This man was, the architect of 9/11. He was a Saudi too, by the way. Mm-hmm. He was Saudi royalty. He was a prince. And he said, I'm not going to move hell and high water to get this man. Well, that guy turned around and attacked us. Are you kidding? So we went into Iraq, and, the Iraqis were not happy about it. The Iraqis didn't trust us anymore, and I don't blame them. And then, when they took Hussein out and there was a power vacuum, all hell broke loose. This also, came along the same line the Arab Springs hit, and power vacuums all over the area. I mean, this happens all the time in that area. All the time in the Arab nations, it happens all the time for 2,000, over 2,000 years. Leaders have risen up and taken out, and their power vacuums, and we need to get out.
So, as a presidential candidate, what is your goals on foreign policy?
My goals on foreign policy, simple. I'm going to give them 1 year in Afghanistan, and we're gone. Period. I don't want to start pissing around with Iran, because I don't think we need to start another war that's going to last decades for, Israeli backing, kind of pushing us, egging us on. Russia is our enemy. We need to treat them as such. Believe me, I know KGB. As I said, I worked in intelligence in Germany when we still had the wall up. I know about KGB. And yes, they lie. So that man, if they want to keep attacking us with cyber warfare, I'll tell them, the United States has a policy in place. We will retaliate in kind. You want to attack us with cyber warfare, we'll do the same. As for, NATO, we need to turn around, we need to recover our NATO allies. Okay? China, we've had a love-hate relationship forever. But at least we knew if we had China on our side, we didn't have to worry about Russia. But we also need to turn around and figure, as a world, we need to get together and say, if you want to get in terrorism, this has got to be a global event. It can't be the United States. We need to get together and a global event to wipe out terrorism once and for all. And the way to do that is to turn around and make lives better, that people are not so desperate they're going to follow any psychotic they can find. That's the best way to eliminate their influx of people.
Curiosity for you, Chris.
Sure.
But I found out a while ago, I caught wind of another oil field in the States itself. You brought up the issue going over to Saudi for the oil. But I got wind of another oil field in the mid-northern states.
Okay.
Have you looked at the issue of looking on home ground for new deposits?
I'm looking on the issue of eliminating it. I want this country to go to solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal power. Now, a gentleman came up with a brand new idea. We got to replace our water pipes anyway. But this guy has come up with a generating system that can be installed in water pipes and produce power from our drinking water.
Right.
This is fantastic. I mean, these are things we can do. We have the technology. We do not need fossil fuels. That is a lie. It's a falsehood. We have the technology. If we ramp it up to the full production, scale, we could be fossil-free in 10 years.
Well, there is something to consider. Whoa. I do agree with you, but there is, to a degree, but there is one thing to consider. With the oil industry, there is a lot of the subsidiary industries that depend on it for their own products. And the superstructure to run the country without oil right now couldn't be done overnight.
That's not true. The superstructure we have now is antiquated because of the greed of your power company.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have never, here in Arizona, I can show you, telegraph poles that they still running power lines on. The power lines out here in my neighborhood look like patchwork, quilts. So that it's not that we need to get on them about that. It's not that we can't do it. It's that we are not motivated enough to do it. And the only way to motivate us to do that...
I was just thinking of things like the plastics that are being used in a lot of stuff.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that we're going to do away completely without petroleum. Oh, no, that's never going to happen. We use petroleum in a lot of medical, components, surgical equipment and stuff like that. We're not going to get rid of that. I'm saying to be free of power sources needing that fossil fuel, which will mean that it will not be as necessary. We'll always need it, but not as necessary. So we're not going to have to worry about another country choking us off again. Now, if we have oil fields here in the United States, we actually produce enough in this country right now that we are, oil independent. But we ship it out. We ship out our own oil, but we are actually oil independent now. That's a fact.
What about vehicles?
Vehicles? Okay. Well, I got a 64 Valiant and a 79 Blazer. It's going to probably have to be modified to run off of some kind of other fuel, but I think that we can turn around and make retrofit electric motors.
Well, decades back, somebody built a ceramic motor that ran on water.
Yeah.
Only it
Oh,
was
you're talking
buried
about
by one of the big ones.
hydrogen cell, which strips the hydrogen and oxygen atoms by electrolysis. And that's a hydrogen. That's what they call a hydrogen cell, and it runs on hydrogen, and it produces water as a byproduct. Now that's not bad. Problem is that it's explosive, and it's very, very hard to control.
That's a bit of a problem.
Hydrogen is extremely explosive, and along with that oxygen, because you're stripping the oxygen atom, which both of those, when you mix together and you have a fender bender, they don't work well. They don't play well with accidents. They have a tendency to go boom.
The 76 Ford.
What's that?
I said they found that out with the 76 Ford exploded car, the Pinto.
Oh yeah. Doesn't work well. They don't play well. Oxygen and hydrogen does not play well with bangs. Yeah, that's the only drawback with hydrogen. But it was a good idea if they could turn around and they could make sure that there is some kind of a safety containment system that in the event of an accident, it will not be ruptured. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. We just don't have that we don't have those kind of metals yet.
So we got a question in the chat room. Where's the money going to come from to retrofit all the vehicles that will need it? Is the federal government going to retrofit that, or is that going to be an individual thing?
Well, I think the federal government should help. I think the federal government should do that. I mean, it's not something. This is a necessity. This is not if we want to make a future for our children, it's necessity. The Constitution starts off with the tranquility and general welfare of the people. Well, if we're going to turn around and have a future for our children, we better start thinking about getting rid of this stuff. And the only way to do the retrofit engines.
But the problem with that is, how do you raise that money to retrofit engines? By taxing the people.
The taxes are already going in. It's redirecting as near as I can figure.
Yeah, but they need more. There's no way they can retrofit that many vehicles that people would want to keep.
They really don't need to, okay? People have a tendency to buy new cars, okay? And a lot of these older electric cars, they're becoming used cars. They're being sold. And then, we can just turn around and stop the idea of building internal combustion engines and go full electric. That would be the primary way to start. Let's in games. Let's just get realistic about this. Stop the internal combustion engines and go full electric.
NASCAR's not going to be happy.
What's that?
I said NASCAR won't be happy.
Oh, no, I know some NASCAR drivers that are looking really seriously at the high-performance Tesla engines. I know a lot of people who race, and they're pretty, thrilled about the idea of having an electric engine that the minute you hit the gas, the power's all the way there. I mean, it doesn't have to unwind like an internal combustion, but you hit the gas and it's there. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of NASCAR drivers that might actually like it better. I mean, they're so restricted because of the carbon footprint and the cost of fuel. I mean, let's think about this. In the last month, we've watched gas around here jump 70 cents a gallon in a month, which is kind of interesting. That's another thing that was been on my mind. Don't you think it's kind of suspicious that one chemical plant that makes the chemicals for gasoline blows up, then a week later, one not only a couple miles away blows up, and now a tanker that has the same chemicals gets sunk? Isn't that kind of interesting?
Well, it is fascinating. The other thing I find fascinating is my understanding is it's about a 6-month backload of oil sitting in the warehouses and what have you, which means, to my way of thinking, you cut the production. It shouldn't have an impact overnight.
No.
Here's what irritates me. How much are you paying for gas in Arizona, Chris?
I think it's it's a $3.30 a gallon up on the hill,
Man, talk about cheap.
So we're paying.
You know, I mean, I know it's more over there. I don't understand why on the West Coast it costs you more. I mean,
I paid.
I mean, you got ports over there that you can pull ships in.
I paid $3.60 a gallon today, and we have refineries in our county.
Yeah, isn't that insane? I mean, think about.
And I've got friends in the South that are they're paying like $2.30, $2.40 a gallon, and
well, some states it's almost $5 a gallon.
Yeah, well, California.
I mean,
California.
A lot of people don't realize that's what caused us to the recession.
Yeah, and
when fuel prices got to a breaking point and businesses had to shut down, they couldn't afford the fuel.
Yeah, and Joe was in the chat room saying it's $4 a gallon in California. It gets ridiculous.
I mean,
as long as we have all these big industries and corporations that are making billions of dollars a month, when you look at it, on fossil fuels, it wins enough.
Yeah, as long as they have their people in Washington, they're going to be able to get away with it. Well, it all has to do with speculators anyway. Wall Street. You look at it, all starts at Wall Street. I'll give you an idea. You can buy a gallon of gas for 25 cents in Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the time you drive over here, you've run out of gas.
Yeah, well, and you get your feet wet. I mean, but no, in Saudi Arabia, it was only 25 cents a gallon.
See, it's sad to say, up here we're running at $6.
Yeah. Oh, $6. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And
in England,
I was talking to Cole, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago. We were talking about the Middle East, and he was amazed that I told him they have brand new Mercedes in Kuwait. They get a brand new Mercedes. They drive down the highway. It breaks down. The family gets out of the Mercedes. They walk. They go out and buy another brand new Mercedes, and they just leave it sitting alongside the road. But
they don't even have insurance over there.
No, they don't.
They wreck. They have an accident. They turn around. They go get another one.
Yep.
I mean, how much is enough? I mean, how kind of insane kind of a money can you have to be able to do that? How much is enough? I mean, that's the problem. Greed, power and corruption, they all go hand in hand. I mean, people lust after power and money, and they become corrupted because of it. I mean, personally, I have no need for money. I'm doing okay. Yeah, I got bills, but, I can pay them. But how much is enough?
So I have a question for you then.
Okay.
If you were to become president, what kind of salary are you willing to take? I ask you, well, let me rephrase that. Would you be willing to run this country on minimum wage? The national average minimum wage?
Sure. Why not?
No, that's something I'd like, honestly, that's nice to hear. Do you think you can afford your bills on minimum wage? Because I can honestly tell you 90% of this country really can't. That's the problem.
No, they can't, and that's the problem. I mean, I'd run this country for what I'm getting right now, for my Social Security and my VA, which is what I'm running everything on. I mean, if that's all I would need, I mean, what do I need anything more? I mean, Air Force One, I think that's paid for. I mean, if I have to go visit other countries, if I have to go from state to state, there's always coach class, or I can get on a bus. I mean, I don't need these exorbitant Air Force One. I mean, why are we? I mean, that's another thing. If I'm elected, I'm not campaigning again, because you don't pay me to campaign. You pay me to work. I'll do an address to the country. I said, if you think I'm doing a good job, elect me. If you don't, elect somebody else. But I have work to do. I cannot be campaigning. And yet the president runs around, every president runs around with Air Force One, the most expensive plane to fly for one person across the country, wasting fuel and wasting taxpayers' money. So no, why would I need more than what I make right now? As long as I can pay my bills, I don't care.
Yeah, because my guess is that the taxes go to cover all the other things that you're supposed to deal with.
What's that?
I said my guess is that the taxpayers' money that's coming in is what's supposed to be used to deal with all the other stuff, not your holidays.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's not. Why should the taxpayers pay for my holidays? I mean, why should the taxpayers pay for, which I don't take many. I'm not going to have time to. I mean, I'm going to take 2 days. I'll take Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then I'll take a day for my grandbabies and my daughters and my son-in-law's birthday. Other than that, I don't believe I don't have holidays. I'm a workaholic. But no, I don't see why you should have to pay for people's holidays. I mean, that's ridiculous. I could see if you had to visit other countries, because as a head of state, you have to. It kind of goes with the freaking the being the most powerful country in the world. But for personal use, I don't see if that makes any sense. I mean, that limousine. I mean, how many gallons to a mile do they get in that limousine? I mean, Air Force One is a heavy aircraft. It sucks fuel like nobody's business for one person. Are you kidding me? Why should the taxpayers pay for that?
Okay, we're getting close to the top of the hour, so we are going to take our break. And when we come back, we are going to shift gears, and we're going to talk paranormal, and then we'll jump.
Oh, that sounds cool.
All right. So here we go.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Well, hello there. Us here at S4 would like to remind you out there that the UFOI team weekly meetings are broadcast live on Facebook from Denny's, where America eats, each Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at UFOI Team on Facebook. The UFOI team's gear, product store, and newsletter are located on their website at ufoiteam.com. To contact the UFOI team with your sightings report or a paranormal story, send an email to theufoiteam@gmail.com. Keep looking up and tell us your story.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, we are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro. Join us on September 28th at the Cedro Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special round table with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830. Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4 tonight. Who you voting for? Is it going to be Christopher McCarthy? You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed in the last 3 years. Anyway, back to the show. So, we're going to switch gears here. We're going to talk paranormal because Chris has had a lot of paranormal experiences. And I want to hear his experiences, and then we're going to see, as president, is he going to bring about disclosure? Is he going to hold the CIA accountable for MK Ultra and a whole lot of other stuff? So, Chris,
are you going to let me and Eric into
Area 51?
Area 51.
I get in Area 51.
All right.
Oh, yeah, I want to get in there. I want to find out what's going on in there.
Right.
Probably going to find nothing in there now. I think they moved it.
I think so, too. Actually, you know what? I don't know. I heard they've moved some of it to Dugway Proving Grounds, where they have the biohazard lab and whatnot. And, of course, they got Pine Gap, Australia. Yeah, there's a whole lot of other places that could take it. But what is your very first memory of a paranormal experience? Whether it was a spirit, Bigfoot experience, UFO?
First one was, I was probably 13. And I was in Chelsea, Mass. And me and my friends were walking down the street. It was about, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, somewhere around there. And we saw this big, looked like a big moon, rising in front of us. And, all of a sudden we realized, we turned around and we saw the moon was behind us. Oh, wait a minute. The moon can't be in two places at once. And I don't know much about anything after that. We do know we saw that, and that was my first experience. And I said, Well, I always wanted to be an astronaut anyway, and I always believed the fact that there had to be life out there. And, there was just too many possibilities that there's been too many sightings of them being here. And I was always the kind of person that believed when somebody says, well, why do you think they'd come here? I said, well, why do we have paleontologists? Why do we have archaeologists? We're living fossils to them. Why not come back? Now, do we have flying saucers? I believe we do. I mean, I have, I can't say I've actually seen it, but I suspect that we do. There were places that were above my clearance. Even I couldn't get access to them. So, I can't say, but if we do, I think we should know about it. I don't think this should be held back. I think that the technology should be, brought out into the open. Because if they have ability to travel even across the galaxy, never mind the universe, that's a power source that we need to turn around and investigate to power our cities. I don't think we need to be out there. We don't have the mentality yet. We're still swinging from trees, beating each other over the head with clubs. So we don't need to be out there yet. I think we need to go to Mars. I think we need to go to the moon. I'm suspicious that there might have actually been intelligent life on Mars at one time before whatever the hell happened to it.
Well, that's where the good news comes in. It's not that it was on Mars. It's that it is.
Yeah. Well, it's possible. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, they could have gone underground.
It's not on the surface.
No, they would have gone underground. It's possible. I mean, I can't say it because I've never been there. And I don't lie, so, I have heard stories, yes. It seems awful suspicious that a lot of 50% of our, missions that gone there have gone bye-bye.
Well, there's the other neat little thing about the Mars issue. Something that I found out a while ago is every time Mars hits its closest point to Earth, the UFO sightings seem to jump by about 300%.
Yeah.
When you look at that particular statistic, you got to look at what's going on Mars that makes that even possible.
Well, I think whatever we have going on here, these people, and I do believe that we're being visited, exactly, and I don't think it's all the same species. Considering the fact that how many different shapes, sizes, and shapes of craft we're seeing, they couldn't be all from the same species. So are we being visited by multiple? Believe so?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, there's over, and we could talk to Keith. You can go back and listen to prior S4 episodes. We've actually talked about all the different races that are here and visiting. I do have a question. Were you in Arizona in '97 during the Phoenix Lights?
No, I think I got here in 90. No, I got here in 98.
Okay.
It was after the Phoenix Lights, just after the Phoenix Lights.
Okay.
My next exposure to, flying saucer or whatever they call them, a UFO was when I was at Fort Riley in Kansas. And me and my sergeant of the guard, we had, duty all night, and we were sitting out there, and they were testing new night vision devices on the fighters. And all of a sudden, this dot appeared out of nowhere, and it went one way, and it went another way, and it went another way, and it was making maneuvers that there is no aircraft I know then or now that can make these kind of turns at that speed. Mm-hmm. I mean, this thing had to be hitting at least Mach 5, and it just did a 90-degree angle. And I'm like, wow. And I looked at my NCO, and I said, should we report this? And he said, no. I said, okay. I said, no, you don't ever report those kind of things. I said, okay. There are so many things that the closest one I ever had, I was living here in Arizona, and, it was around 98, 99. And a friend of mine was over, and we heard a plane like it was having trouble. So we went outside, and we saw this airplane, and it looked like it wasn't in control. I mean, it was doing all kinds of crazy maneuvers, and you could hear the engine sputtering, and like he was having all kinds of trouble with his controls. And the next thing I know, there's this orange orb came right by us. Couldn't have been more than a foot in diameter. It was kind of translucent. and no more than 4 or 5 feet away from us. And it was under intelligent control. This was not ball lightning. I mean, it actually went around a tree. It came up to a tree and just maneuvered around it. So unless ball lightning can, change directions, what I've never heard of.
Right.
Ball lightning. What it was, I don't know. Except that it couldn't be, it had to be some kind of a drone because it was way too small. But, yeah, I think we've been visited. I'm positive we've been visited. I mean, I've seen it myself. And, it's no secret. I mean, I told everybody about this. Do I think they've taken people? I believe so. Why not? But I don't believe it's like they say. I think these people were talking about these traumatic, invasive activities. If they're that advanced, why would they have to use such horrendous acts when their technology would be far beyond ours? And we're right now at a point where even our archaic stuff is getting pretty much painless. So, frightened. People are frightened. I don't doubt they're frightened. Personally, if they came by and said, hey, want to take you? No problem. Just take me for a ride first.
You might want to find out what race it is first.
Huh?
I said you might want to find out what race is offering you the ride first.
Right.
Oh, I don't care. I just want to see the engine room.
Oh, you might.
Yeah, I want to go for a ride. But, I'm not particular. I'm not fussy. Hey, I'm not prejudiced. I'll take a ride with anybody.
Bad idea.
They can hit,
really bad idea. There are races, they invite you for dinner. You really want to turn them down.
Yeah.
Well, unless I'm on the menu.
Well,
you got me on the menu, then we got to fight.
Who's on the driving stick?
That's the point. Now, I want to, if you become president, are you going to use your presidential authority and try to bring about disclosure?
I will do everything I can to bring about disclosure. I think the public has a right to know. We do have a right to know. We do have a right to know that this government is not hiding things, that we need to be open about things like this.
Here's the devil's advocate thing. What do you call disclosure?
Disclosure is full disclosure when it comes to things like this. This is something too big to be kept secret. When you're talking about, interplanetary travel, intergalactic travel, this is something that's too big to be kept to ourselves. We need to let everybody know about it. We need to, and it has to be opened.
What if they try to...
Not in the dark ages. We're not all going to go out of our minds and jump off of bridges and shoot ourselves and scream and run in the streets. Most people already believe it's happening. Why not just come, fess up?
What if they try to use national security as their excuse not to disclose?
National security about what? We already know what's happening. So where's the national security? Admitting that we have them, admitting that that we're testing them, admitting that there's nothing national security about that. Everybody knows that already. It's not like it's a deep dark secret. Guys, national security is over with. That deep dark secret is already out in the open. I just want us to admit it.
So there's a lot of theories out there. There's a theory I can't remember the name of the treaty. Truman was supposed to have signed a contract with the Greys back in the 40s.
Okay.
In exchange for technology, which is where the cell phone, the fiber optics, many other technological advances came from. The Greys could abduct humans. And there's a lot of validity to the theory. So some think that that's why there's non-disclosure. So as president, if you get told that this particular treaty did come about and the government did indeed make a contract with Grays, that the U.S. government made a contract that they could be abducted, what would your response to that be? Would you hold the government accountable?
If they were having our people, taken, yes, I would hold this country. I would hold our government accountable. I mean, you just don't do that. It's not like we could stop them if they wanted to do something. It's not like we could stop them. I mean, we're woefully, undereducated to, keep up with their technology. But still, we have enough people who'd be willing to go. Why abduct them? So if we have that kind of a backdoor deal with Grays, no, we have to be held accountable for that kind of stuff. We do.
I can tell you one of the reasons why abducting somebody against their will from the off-worlder standpoint is still beneficial. I mean, I agree with you, don't get me wrong. From the Terran standpoint, you got enough people that are willing to go, some with very bad reasoning for it, but there's enough willing to go, there isn't a shortage. But from the off-worlder standpoint, there is a very big difference on the subcellular impact on a subquantum level of the reaction to the abduction in the first place that they are tracking.
When you're talking about the subatomic level, are you talking about the diffusion of the some type of structure, the magnetic cohesion effect?
We're actually talking beyond that, but essentially yes.
Okay, because what you're talking about is something that I haven't heard of. I know that people have had implants.
Welcome to S4.
I mean, I've known about people that have had implants and that do have radio transceivers of metals that we don't understand. We do know that there have been people that have been taken, and that some of them have been traumatic. And there's one case in point in Alaska, and the woman was broken up pretty badly because she struggled and fought back. They took her daughter because for some reason, that they thought that she wasn't safe there because of the experiments they did on her. And there's a big thing about it, but that was not, from what I heard, it was not allowed. The society that had them, it was not, sanctioned by their society. And actually, from what I got from the documentary is that their society was angered by their tactics, that they weren't supposed to do it. It was against their belief systems. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact of the matter is, when you start talking about abductions, you have to think about, who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay? When you start talking about now making deals with abductions, that's a whole other world.
Agreed. And that's that's where you as president, it's sad that we haven't had prior presidents that did or were able to dig into this, because this has been ongoing since, there's been documented abductions since 12th and 13th century, but we won't even get into that. We're just talking about U.S. abductions.
Going on for thousands of years, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. Quite frankly, they've been going on for millions of years, but that's another issue altogether.
I'm talking about the documented ones.
Poor Gronk.
But, he's kind of right, because actually we have no idea where modern man came from. We still have not found that link yet for, and why is it that Native Americans, modern man and and the Americas spawn up at the same time they did in Europe? Where'd they come from? We don't know. But that was way above my security clearance. And, that kind of stuff of my security clearance.
No, that was always going to be eyes only or MJ-12.
Yeah, that was need to know. I guess that's one of those need to know only. It was like, when I try to get my military records, it's need to know only. And when I asked for them, they said, you don't need to know. I said, they're my records. I said, so.
Yeah.
There's certain things that are, even with a top secret clearance, you can't get eyes on. And that happened to be one of them. I would have loved to have.
Now,
I would have liked to know.
No, you're fine. But I want to ask you about the CIA. Now, what are your thoughts on the CIA and MK Ultra, mind control, waterboarding, some of the other highly questionable tactics they use against our own people?
Okay, let me tell you something. CIA and I, I worked intelligence, and CIA and I have always had bad blood.
Mm-hmm.
I have never liked them. I understand they do perform a duty and a responsibility. MK Ultra, unfortunately, I was a guinea pig. They were supposedly giving us anthrax shots, but those were all approved by the FDA, and they're a single shot, over 5 shots over consecutive days. And these were 2 shots, and they said unapproved by FDA, unapproved from human consumption. And I said, this is not anthrax. And they said, stick out your arms, and there's an order. And my team and I became far stronger, faster, and more aggressive. We seemed to not bleed anymore. I mean, we get cut and we bleed a second and it stopped bleeding. Of course, it has knock-on effects, though. I now have blood clots. I have, advanced degenerative disease and spinal stenosis because the bone is still growing. And unless there's a break but my bones are 5 times denser than most people. Why they did that without our permission, I don't know.
My guess is you wouldn't have given it.
No, I wouldn't have. I'm not going to let some people experiment on me. I mean, you're talking about something that's going to alter your genetic makeup. I mean, I did do, in one of those tests through, what's it called, Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
They couldn't find me. My DNA did not come up to anybody.
Not surprising when you think about it after what you just said.
My daughter is super strong. She's what we call 2nd gen, and my granddaughter's 3rd gen. And she's super strong. Big, huge. And she's really smart and really fast. So, do I believe in the MK Ultra program? To make super soldiers. If you're going to turn around and genetically alter a human being, you're playing with fire. You're playing with a possibility of a lifelong horror show.
No.
Do I think they should... Waterboarding doesn't work.
No.
Enhanced interrogation doesn't work. I got more information because I spoke Arabic and I was nice to people and I got more information, more intelligence, actionable intelligence than the CIA ever did.
And that is scientifically proven that, yes, torture does not work because anyone that's being tortured for intelligence purposes will tell you whatever they want you to hear to make you stop the torture.
Whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Get you to stop hurting them.
So, with that, I completely agree because I had to write a paper on, I can't remember the name, but on waterboarding and torture tactics for Homeland Security.
It doesn't work.
No, it does not.
That's just torture. Period. That's all that's for. That if you want to turn around and hurt somebody, or you just want to torture somebody, yeah, you can do that. But if you want to get information, you're not going to get information that way.
No.
They had no real actionable intelligence come out of anybody out of that.
Well,
they got more actionable intelligence on the ground by people who were actually being, like me, that's still in the military, the people like me that are in the military, who understand that if you treat people with respect, kindness, and decency, learn the language and learn about them, they're willing to tell you almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
People want to talk. If people have secrets, they want to talk.
That's along the same lines that scientific advancement is easier to make if you're not ducking from bullets and bombs.
Right.
Chris, are you in there?
Yeah.
No, no.
Not me?
No, the other Chris.
I'm here.
All right. You got any questions yet?
I do. I'd like to know, Chris, your thought about the Mexican wall and your thought about illegals coming into this country.
Okay. That wall is a joke. Any person will tell you a wall is nothing but an opportunity. It has already been proven to fail, and it was exactly what I said it was. It was so Trump could put his name on it, and he did. He actually literally put a plaque with his name on it. That was all it was about. It was a narcissist thing. Technology could have done a lot better. We could put seismic sensors down there to find out about tunneling. We could put motion sensors to see if anybody's crossing the border. We could put drones up, small $100 drones to track immigrants. But the problem is we are in trouble. We can't take anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really do have a heart for them. But we don't have any place to put them. We can't take anymore. The only thing we can do now, I guess, I understand about that amnesty stuff, but we just don't have any place to put them. The only thing we can do now is put them on buses and take them back. I'm sorry, But my problem with this thing, what's going on, the immigrants that are in this country, that have been in this country, that have been proving themselves, that have been good people, are being shipped out. Meanwhile, the cartels are not being touched. The MS-13 is not being touched. The Russian mafia is not being touched. Why? I mean, they're the problems here. They're the sex traffickers, the drug traffickers, the human traffickers. They're the ones that commit mass murders. Why are they not being touched?
Right.
But no, we can't take anymore. We just don't have any place to put them. Like I said, 2017 to 2018, 5 million homes destroyed. And still rising. We don't have places to put our own people. Where are we going to put them?
No.
And like I said, I do feel for them. I understand. I know what's going on down there. Trust me, I do get the intelligence reports. I know what's going on. But there's just no place to put them.
Trip's got a question for you. Trip's got a question in the chat room. So what's your thoughts on going after the people that have businesses, factories, and motels that are hiring the illegals?
We need to bring them out into the open. We need to bring these immigrants out to the open. We need to get them. Can
I make a comment on that?
What's that?
Can I make a comment on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was a hospitality manager for 15 years. And going through my training, we were told how to set up the employee files. Now, we were told that you cannot, as a manager, in any way question the identity or identifications that are given to you. So if somebody gives me a green card, I can't question it. I can't verify if it's legal or illegal. And we were told to have those files set up a certain way in case Immigration Naturalization Services comes in and they're the only ones that could verify or not. So I think, in my opinion, is it's got to be regulated somehow with immigration, or you have to have the like myself as a manager should have reported somewhere, is this legal or is this not? You see what I mean? It needs to be an updated system on this to be able to stop that.
Well, that's where immigration policy needs to be changed.
Exactly. I mean, we have got to turn around and do something with this immigration policy, because what we're doing right now it's insane. It's nuts. We can't take any
And
more. But what we got
well,
here, right, as long as they haven't broken laws, I mean serious laws, and I'm not talking about their being here illegal, because they've been brought out, they've been brought in, they've been brought out, they've been brought in. You know, there's this one kid that he's been here since a toddler, and he was in his 2 weeks from graduation through no fault of his own, and ICE grabs him and arrests him, and they're planning to ship him back. Is that fair?
No, it certainly doesn't make any practical sense.
Exactly. We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars a week to ship these, to round these people up and send them home, when we should try to be bringing them out and getting them to where they feel safe to come out into the open, get legitimate IDs, get legitimate, a status. I'm going to tell you two more horror stories. Okay? 2 different people serving in the war right now in Afghanistan. 2 different families. While these people were deployed in a combat zone, they rounded up their families and shipped them back to Mexico. Is that fair?
No, because actually their family members are supposed to be exempt because their service members are serving.
Not since the zero tolerance.
See, it used to be you could actually become a citizen by joining the military, and your families were covered.
Exactly. But not now. See, this is where it gets very, very, itchy, okay? You should be able to turn around and verify somebody's identification, but they should be able to have a legitimate identification. If somebody's coming in there, if I went to go to work for somebody, they check my background. I mean, they check to make sure that I've never gone to a place where I haven't had, my background checked, or at least have my identification checked.
Mm-hmm.
And, people some of these people are forced in the idea of using false identifications. What we need to do is we need to turn around and bring them out of the shadows. Bring them, say, okay, you want to stay here. First thing you got to do, tell me, do you want to be a citizen or not? If you don't want to be a citizen, there's the door. Don't hit you in the butt on the way out. If you want to be a citizen, you got to come out. You got to turn around and sign up, get a legitimate identification card, and be ready, and then report and to, be ready to pay your taxes, like everybody else does.
Yep.
I mean, you got Social Security, and all that other stuff you got to pay. It's natural. But no, I think that as a business owner, you should have the right to be at least able to check and verify that who you got working for you is who you got working for you.
Yep.
I mean that's a given. I mean, and I think that we need to repurpose our ICE agents to get rid of the cartels, the MS-13, the Russian mafia first, but foremost. We need to get rid of the troublemakers. The problem is with these guys, they block their citizenship. Now, this is something very insidious not too many people know about. Is you spend $150,000 in this country, and you could just buy a house or buy some land for $150,000, you get your citizenship. That's how the cartels got in. I don't care. You're running your cartel. Thank you for buying that land that now belongs to the United States government. Goodbye.
And then
but if you're just...
And then you give that land to the homeless.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, okay? There was a guy here in Arizona. He had his own business, was hiring U.S. citizens. They shipped him back to Mexico, and they had to close the business. This guy was actually providing a service that was actually putting our people to work. Was that fair?
No.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. There's a fine line that you got to walk, but you got to be humane about it. But there is also a limit. We can't take any more because there's just no place to put them. I'm sorry. That's the bottom line. And I just, in the 2 days, 1,500, immigrants. There's no way we can take that kind of people. There's no way. I'm sorry, and like I said, I got a big heart, and I think that the immigrants here that have been showing themselves to be good citizens, they need to be given a chance. But we can't take anymore. We need Canada to step up. We need South American countries that are not dangerous to step up, because we just can't do it.
And I gotta tell you, I've been saying the same thing about this wall since the beginning. You can't have a wall without, one, security to reinforce that wall, technology to reinforce that wall. A wall itself's not going to do a damn thing. If we can keep people out of Area 51, we can use the same technology to secure the border with the, come on now. Seismic
Look, I
detectors,
saw
like
that
you
wall
said.
in East Germany. You know what I thought about that wall in East Germany? It was an opportunity. I seen them getting through that wall all the time, even with those armed guards, barbed wire and landmines. They still got through. But it was an opportunity. If we had to get in there, we could take out the tower guards and go over the wall. Nobody would even know we were there.
No.
I mean...
and... Go ahead. Go ahead.
Most of our border guards don't want it either. They want to be able to see what's going on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go right up against that wall, dig straight down, and go out and pop up right in front of them. I mean, there's nothing to stop them. No wall has ever succeeded. In thousands of years, we've defeated walls. Walls hundreds of feet, high, and dozens of feet that have been defeated. For thousands of years. What makes a new wall different? Technology, that's a little different. You can't defeat technology. I mean,
I think the other thing you have to think about is also look at all of the illegals that are able to go into a state DSHS office and pull benefits from this government, and they're not a resident and they're not a citizen, and that is not acceptable.
They need to turn around and become actual, contributors to society.
Yep.
You're mistaking for somebody, I don't think that somebody that's reaching out this government needs to be here, but I think they need to be actual, citizens that contribute.
Yeah.
They gotta have a job. They gotta be able to take care of themselves.
That's right.
But they can't do that as long as they're hiding in the shadows. And yes,
right.
I do. There are some that took advantage of it, but so do our U.S. So do American citizens. Take advantage of it.
Yes, but you said the key word right there: citizen. We should be able to get help in our own country, but could you imagine if the United States stopped the benefits to non-resident and non-citizen people? They wouldn't even stay in this country. They wouldn't stay, because that's why they're here, is to get benefits. They're here to soak up the money. A lot of them are.
Yeah, well, we can't. That I'm against. Okay, if they're just here to turn around and not participate in in society, if they're not here to turn around and work and perform a service, then no. Why are they here? I mean, no, I don't want people here like that either. I mean, if that's all they're doing, no, absolutely not.
So I
do understand that people are struggling, and if they got a legitimate job, they're working their butts off, and they're trying, and they just can't make ends meet, and they are good citizens.
Right.
I get it. I get it. But if they're just here just to get that benefit, no.
And there are a lot that do that. Yep.
So Trippin's bringing up a good comment. I want to bring up a question out of this: is businesses want illegals? So, what do you think about penalizing businesses that purposely hire illegals for cheap labor?
Oh yeah, they should be penalized if they're turning around especially, and this is one of the most insidious things I've seen yet. they will hire them for half the price, the half the amount of money that they would pay normal citizens. Yeah, they need to be caught and they need to be brought to bear on that. No, you hire them for the same value you hire for U.S. citizens. Or, yeah, we need to go after them.
Okay.
Because, yes, I have seen that.
So we have about 20... No, go ahead. So we have about 20 minutes for the second hour here. So with that, what do you think about a national hourly wage?
That is something we need to have. We really need to have it. I mean, at the way the national produce is and stuff like that, cost of living, it has to be $15 an hour. And that's going to be national wage. And the problem with that, and I know there's small businesses say, well, we can't absorb that kind of thing, but in those instances, the government can help, offset, especially the smaller businesses. We can help the smaller businesses out. Screw the corporate America. I mean, they can afford it. They should be paying them $15 an hour. They sucked off them so long. One thing you got to understand about your employees, these millionaires and billionaires, they don't make any money. It's your employees that do. I mean, I had a corporation, and I was the highest paying corporation out there. I mean, I paid people, above minimum wage because I didn't think they could survive with what they had. And what I paid them, they did very well because this was back in 91, between 91 and 93. I was in the black. But when I was in a closed corporation. But then I started making too much money, and they said, okay, you got to make it open corporation. It means I had to get put on the stock market, which means that they would have destroyed whatever I could do for the people. I got them the best medical care and everything. And that would have ruined it. So I shut it down. But I don't see why that can't be done. How much is enough? I mean, the Dow Jones is skyrocketing all the time. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that can be done. $15 an hour is not insane.
Cole,
should have been that long.
Cole, you got any questions?
No.
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 Okay.
I hope I answered that right, for you guys.
No, you did fine.
Well, as long as you're wrong, as long as you're being honest, that's the right way to answer it.
Yeah. Fortunately, I have a problem. I can't lie.
Oh no, you're fine.
You and I will get along fine on that one.
I'm sitting here thinking about issues I want to bring up, but we only have like 15 or less than 15 minutes before the top of the hour. So I want to get into a really big discussion and then have to go to break. So let's talk about Bigfoot for a second. What do you think about making Bigfoot an endangered species?
Okay, I did see one once when I was in Pennsylvania in backwoods, and I only saw its elbow, but when it ran across the highway. But yeah, it should be an endangered species. I don't think anybody should be messing with them. Leave them alone. I think that their habitat should be protected. The Native Americans, they call him a hairy man.
Mm-hmm.
And they protect them. They shield them. They hide them. But yeah, it's not an uncommon thing in Native Americans. But yeah, they should be protected. 100% protected. I mean, stop hunting these people. Leave them alone.
I think the problem would lie within the government, at least. Once you put Bigfoot on the endangered species list, they have a hard time admitting when something exists. Look at the UFOs. Look at you even have arguments over whether what happens after you die, whether you're a spirit or whether you go to heaven or hell. So the minute the government comes out and says Bigfoot is indeed an endangered species, well, how do we know Bigfoot really exists? I know he does. I've heard the knocks. I've seen the tracks. But you know, you got the debunkers and you got the White House scientists that are going, "Oh, there's no such thing as Bigfoot." So how would you convince the government? I mean, president or not, you still have to go through your certain hoops and whatnot. How would you get it passed that Bigfoot is indeed real and is indeed an endangered species?
I think it was the 1960s when they thought that the gorillas were a myth. Mm-hmm. And there was another deer that thought was a myth that they just found out was actual factual. The juggler fish, the juggler shark, I can't remember what it's called now. It's supposed to be extinct. The silicon was supposed to be a fallacy, a fake, and it's now found out to be real. The sea serpent was supposed to be fake, and they found one that washed up on the shore by the Marines. Mm-hmm. So when you start saying what is and is not real, it's only just because no one has ever captured one, and nor should they. There's enough, actually there is DNA evidence they do exist. That's enough. To have DNA proof they do exist is enough. I mean, what more do you want? Send hunters in here to kill one? That's insane. I mean, they just, either they're going to deal with it or not. Not so long ago, they thought that, planetary systems around stars was a very rare thing. That it was, 1 in a billion. Now they're finding out that stars without solar systems are very rare. Now they're starting to say, now they're moving to the fact that UFOs weren't real. Most scientists today say, yes, they are.
Would you bring back Pluto as a planet?
Pluto as a planet. Okay, now that's a scientific community, and some say yes, some say no. I think it is. I mean, I always, when I grew up as a kid, I always thought Pluto was a planet, and then they said no, it wasn't. I said, what?
Well, I know from an astrologer standpoint, we're leaving it as a planet.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. It just, going through school, Pluto was always a planet, and all of a sudden, we're gonna make it not a planet anymore. Well, really? Why not? Well, come on now. I'm going to wrap up this hour with Tripp's question. Would you bring back the fairness doctrine and get news out of the entertainment business?
The what?
Would you bring back the fairness doctrine and get news, the media out of the entertainment business? When we get back to the news, CNN, Fox, all of them need to report the news and not bring out their opinion as news.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying entertainment like, Jon Stewart or something like that, Those are comedians, and those are actually comedians.
Right.
No, yeah. I don't think that... I think they should be reporting the news. I remember Walter Cronkite. I remember all the old guys. I remember when news was news, when actual reporters were journalists. Yeah. We need to turn around and bring that back. Personal opinions don't have no business when it comes to the news. You report the news as you see it, not as you think it.
Agreed. Okay.
There's too much politics, too much corporations involved in that.
Well, yeah, we need to get the political parties out of buying out, news networks. Because if you want to hear the Republican side, you go to the Fox, and if you want to hear the Democratic side, you go to CNN and MSNBC, and it shouldn't be that way.
No, and like I say, I watch CBS, and there's places like Vice News, and they pretty much tell it like it is. They don't pull punches, and there's what is it? Even some comedians don't pull punches. They may joke about it, but when they talk, they don't talk in certain political genre. They equal opportunity, attackers.
I think if you want to hear news, you would need to watch BBC or Al Jazeera.
I have watched BBC.
Yeah.
I do watch BBC. I do watch Al Jazeera. I do watch, CNN, and most of these news stations. If you really pay attention, only 5 minutes is real news, and the rest of it is all like soap opera stuff. Or this guy here, he did this, and they follow this thing forever and ever. Amen. And it just goes on and on and on, and it's like, okay, this is another segment of the same old soap opera. But you get 5 minutes of real news, and that's basically what I look for, is that 5 minutes of real news.
So we got about we got about 10 minutes. Still, we're at the top of the hour. Where do you see trade?
Trade?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're looking in the wrong direction. I mean, why are corporations buying this stuff cheap? It's the corporations that are involved with this. It's not trade. This trade deficit, I don't like the monetary system to begin with. It's outdated, it's archaic, and it's caused more problems than it's worth. It should have been gone a long time ago. But trade is an equal opportunity handout. We have things that other people need that we make better, and they have things that they make better. And if we decide that we, choose to do a trade where it's beneficial to each other, then yeah, I see a good trade there. But if you're trading to and trying to slap us down, no, I don't think that's a good trade. I don't think we're doing the right thing. Well, like I said, I'm against the monetary system anyway. If we got rid of the monetary system, the trade business would be more equal. But I think that a trade deficit could be discussed at a much easier and much more calmer fashion than the slap tariffs upon tariffs, which are not going to work. They're just going to make this other country madder. Right now, we have farmers that can't sell grain in freaking China. Their grain is rotting in their barns because they can't sell it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you got to look at, okay, it benefits one side, but how much does it hurt the other? So it's a kind of a balancing act. You got to look at it from all angles. But I say that if you have equal trade with each other, and it can be done, okay, it can be done, but we need to start thinking smarter, not harder. And this tariff actually hurts the American public, too, because you're going to be paying more at the checkout line than you ever have before, and you're still not making any more money. So who's it hurting? China can sit there and wait till hell freezes over. They can trade with everybody else. They don't need to trade with us. So, I mean, it's like you really got to think of what's in the best interest. How do you do it and be effective?
So, as president, let's talk agriculture. So, as president, are you going to push more for the family farm?
Yes. Monsanto's got to go.
There you go.
These corporate, takeovers. Monsanto's the most crooked and most dangerous company there is. They need to go. Yes, family farming needs to come back.
So, what screwed up the family farm too was the Reagan administration with the government buyout, the milk buyout program. That shut down a lot of the family dairies.
Oh, yeah, well, Reaganomics, I remember that well. I lived through that in the military. Didn't do the military any good either.
Mm-hmm. So, I got a quick question for you.
Okay.
What do you think about putting the Pledge of Allegiance back into schools?
Look, I said it myself when I was going through school. I don't see why it was taken out.
Yep.
I mean, this is our country, and we should do it. I don't see why not.
On the same vein, What about the national anthem at the sports events? And rest assured, I am not a sports fan.
Well, I'm not a sports fan, but we've done it since we've had sports things, I think. The national anthem is the national anthem, and yeah, I mean, they've done it since I can remember. I don't see why they would want to take that out. I mean, as long as they're not...
I think I know where you're going, Keith. Here's where I stand on that, though. If you don't want to stand up, if you want to take a knee, as a veteran...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely, I agree with you there.
Oh, yeah, no, if you want to take a knee, oh, no. You and I fought for the rights of people to express themselves. If they don't want to stand, that's their constitutional rights.
Exactly.
If they want to take, that's their constitutional rights.
Yeah, I wasn't making it mandatory to do it so much as get rid of the idea that you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, no. Oh, I thought I know what you're talking about now. No.
Right.
I mean, no, it should not be mandatory. You shouldn't be. I mean, I don't see how these people think that people who served are being slapped in the face when people are actually, exhibiting their rights under the Constitution we fought for them to have.
That's why we fought, so they had the right to take a knee if they felt like it.
Exactly.
I don't see it as a slap in the face whatsoever, and I don't think any of my veteran brothers and sisters do either. So, for anyone in a leadership position of this country to say we do, he doesn't speak for me. And
he doesn't speak for me either.
Exactly.
I got over 17 years in this, and you know what? He took a knee, and I was proud of him. I was happy that day. You know why? Because somebody finally took and exhibited their rights.
Exactly. And with folks, we're going to go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, we will carry on this conversation.
You are listening to S4 on Spreaker.com.
Come get spooked at the 4th Annual Forest Moon Paracon in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, Saturday, September 28th. UFOs, ghosts, aliens, Bigfoot. Speakers include Mike Morin and Jason Jordan, R. Keith Andrews, and Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and so much more. There will be workshops and a VIP roundtable. Get early bird tickets now at fmparacon.com.
Well, hello there. Us here at S4 would like to remind you out there that the UFOI team weekly meetings are broadcast live on Facebook from Denny's, where America eats, each Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at UFOI Team on Facebook. The UFOI team's gear, product store, and newsletter are located on their website at ufoiteam.com. To contact the UFOI team with your sightings report or a paranormal story, send an email to theufoiteam@gmail.com. Keep looking up and tell us your story.
Forest Moon Paranormal is a non-for-profit emergency response team that handles all aspects of the paranormal, helping you, your family, friends, and community since 2004. Whether you're having a problem with hauntings, spirits, Bigfoot, other types of cryptids, or UFO activity. Maybe you're just unsure of what's bothering or terrifying you. Or maybe you're just afraid of criticism and disbelief. FMP is here for you. We handle cases globally and locally from our headquarters in Skagit County, Washington. We never accept any form of payment for our services and are 100% confidential. You can find us on Facebook under Forest Moon Paranormal. You can private message us for assistance, or just come join in the discussion and become part of our growing FMP community.
Hello, my name's Cole Wegleitner with Statement of Sound DJ Productions. We do mixing, monitoring, recording, and editing for all your audio needs. For our local listeners in the Skagit area, We are taking bookings for your 2019 events and parties. We have a wide array of music from any genre. Please allow us to help you make these memories last forever. Contact us at 360-999-2830 or on Facebook at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro. Join us on September 28th at the Cedro Woolley Community Center for 2019 Forest Moon Paranormal Paracon. VIP All Access passes on sale now at fmparacon.com. Your pass includes all-day admission to see the speakers and workshops, the Ghost Walk, a special VIP workshop, a special round table with the speakers, a Paracon t-shirt, and an FMP Paracon swag bag. These tickets can be purchased from fmparacon.com. Get yours today.
Hey everyone, Cole here with S4 Paranormal Radio, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. Looking for a way to get the word out there about your business, group, team, or product? Let us help you. A few clicks is all it takes to get started at s-4radio.com, or you can contact me at 360-999-2830.
Welcome back to S4 with your host, Eric Cooper.
Welcome back to S4 tonight. Who are you voting for? Is it going to be Christopher McCarthy? You can also find the archives at our Spreaker site and on the S4 YouTube channel for all the shows you missed the last 3 years. Anyway, back to the show. All right, so where were we? We were talking... We already got done.
We're talking about taking a knee.
Yeah, taking a knee. So, yeah. Completely agree. It's a constitutional right. We need to get presidential elections and the way we run this country back to the Constitution. That's hands
well, the constitutional law has been so obliterated. It's insane. And did you know you don't even have to register to vote? Constitutional law
How do you do
says.
that?
Huh?
I said, how, pray tell, do you do that?
There's actually 4 amendments to the Constitution that says you don't have to register. You just have to, be a U.S. citizen and vote in your state. The last one of the Constitution was the second to last amendment. I think it was the 25th Amendment. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that. It could be close. It says that you have to be of the age of 18 and older, and you have a right to vote. Period. No one can take that right from you because it is a right. To register means that that's not a right. That started back after when people wanted to be card-carrying Democrats and card-carrying Republicans, and then somehow they snuck around and they started making it so that you had to sign up, but it's not constitutionally legal. The Constitution, according to Article 6 of the Constitution, it's the law of the land. And it says you just have to be a U.S. citizen and vote in your state, period. It's a right from birth. One thing people don't understand is those rights, the Bill of Rights, are from the day you're born, or the day you become naturalized citizens. You have that right. No one can take it away. It's not like a driver's license, which is a privilege, or to serve in Congress, Senate, or President, which is a privilege. The right to vote is guaranteed to you by the Constitution of the United States. And if they tell you that you can't vote, it's unconstitutional. There's actually an amendment in the Constitution that says as soon as you're done servitude, you automatically get your right to vote back. These states that have been denying people rights to vote is illegal. They are in rebellion to the Constitution. When they tell you have to register to vote, it's in rebellion to the Constitution. Yes, I did register as none. I've always registered as none. I went to go into a primary here in Arizona, and of course, Arizona has a law. If you have to be a member of the party to vote. And they said I can't vote. And I turned around, I flipped open the Constitution, which says during primary elections, you have the right to vote. I slapped in front of them. I says, "Are you trying to break my constitutional rights? Is that what you're telling me? That you're in rebellion to the Constitution?" You know, they got on the phone and they turn around and they say, "Oh, here's your voter's registration. Go ahead, sign. Here's your voter's card. Go ahead." You know, when you turn around and when people realize what is actually in the Constitution, we will get our country back. When people realize how much we have been, denied our rights under the Constitution of the United States, we will get our rights back. Well, according to the Constitution of the United States, the only thing that gets me on the ballot is to be over the age of 36 and a U.S. citizen. That is constitutional law, and according to Article 6 of the Constitution, it's the supreme law of the land. No state can overrule it.
Well, with that in mind, what kind of chaos would it cause to ensure that the Constitution itself was a lot more readily available? Because there's a lot of people that have no idea where to find it, never mind what it is.
Well, they can find it online. You can get it online. You can download it. You can print it up. You can put it in your pocket. I was telling a young woman about the fact that women do not have equal rights, that the Equal Rights Amendment was never ratified and therefore did not make it into the Constitution. And a lot of women did not know that. You have the right to vote as a woman, but you do not have equal rights. I want that amendment put back in, that women have the same rights as men. And the young lady, she flipped it over, and I said, "Look under, our failed amendments." And her jaw beat her kneecaps up, and her eyeballs popped out of her head.
Well, that would have been a sight.
Well, the reason they made sure that the right to vote stayed in there was because they didn't have that right to vote. They would have known something was hinky, but they didn't, ratify the equal rights of women. As long as they didn't ratify it, women didn't know it, they got away with it. That was, the old boys' school, remember? But I want that put back in the Constitution. On this thing about we're not going to work, try that with me. I got a surprise. Article 2, Section 3 of the Constitution, United States President can call Congress and Senate back into session indefinitely. It says I can do it, doesn't say when I can let them go home. So if they want to sit there 4 days or 4 years, that's fine by me. All I got to do is make sure they got food. And I like Army chow, a cot, a sleeping bag. I love Army cots. 17 years I slept in one. I slept in sleeping bags. I slept on the ground. I've been in Army chow most of my life. I don't mind it. Of course, I would smuggle in coffee.
I don't think you'd have to smuggle in it at that point.
Yeah, it's like, but I don't have to let them go home. I can confiscate all the devices, too, according to the regular, rules, the law. They're not supposed to have them in there anyway.
So Kayla's in the chat room, and she's bringing up your right to vote can be taken away with some felony convictions. What's your thought about felony convictions, violent crimes, things of that nature? You think that should be...
Okay, your right to vote, as long as you are in prison, you don't have the right to vote. The Constitution specifically mandates that as soon as you are released, you regain your rights. And that's the constitutional law. That's not something I'm saying. That's what the Constitution says. And I have to abide by the Constitution. So the Constitution says if you're a felon, you're convicted, you serve your time, you get out, you get your rights back.
You know what the really fascinating thing here is, Chris?
What?
It seems you're one of these really weird presidential candidates that actually read the Constitution.
I went to high school. We had constitutional law in high school called Law and Government. And if I was going to serve for a Constitution, I wanted to know what was in it. So yes, I did my homework.
Oh, and that should be something in every school today is constitutional law. But it's not.
And I've asked, and they don't have it. That needs to be returned to the schools. Do you know why it was taken out? So nobody knew what was happening.
Yeah, it's called
Nobody knew it was in the
professional
Constitution.
So let's talk
Do you
about
know
education.
that when the justice, that the Supreme Court said that Citizens United was legal as a citizen, it is not. It's specifically in the Constitution. I can't remember which one. It's one of the articles. Specifically says no organization shall be put together to represent any group of people. That a vote belongs to a person. That no organization shall infuse any money into any campaign except that of people and what the government gives them. Period. So Citizens United is illegal by the Constitution. It's not as they understand it, it's as it is written. See, that's why they stopped putting that in high school. Because now they can turn around and play that game as we understand it, or as we see it, or you have to register, or as our state, states that how you... No. It's by the Constitution.
Okay.
Article 6. Article 6.
Go ahead. Well, I want to bring up education now. So Trippin is also in the chat room. He wants to know: would you get rid of these giant schools and go back to the neighborhood schools?
No. Look, we have a lot of students out there that are not getting an education. We need to have free education, but the big schools, we need to fund that. Excuse me. We need to fund our education better than we are. Oh, by the way, in 2026, education funding is gone. But no, we need to fund our education better, that we can open up more schools and, renovate our old schools and bring in, textbooks that aren't 20 years out of date.
Did I just hear you correctly say that by 2026 you guys aren't funding education?
That's it.
What kind of an idiot would pass that kind of a perception? Now, that is my opinion, not the stations and not FMPs by any means.
Okay. Do you remember when they did that 1,500-page budget 2 days before the vote?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Education, first responders, law enforcement, fire, all those, everything's gone. Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, it's all gone. You're going to be paying 15.8% tax for nothing.
You sometimes are politically incorrect. Sometimes I make a mistake, I'm politically correct.
What's that?
I say you made a comment earlier that sometimes you're politically incorrect. I said I've got the flip side. Once in a while I make a mistake and I end up saying something that's politically okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was a moron. Called President Trump and the Republicans. Yeah, they're the ones that pushed that through. That's why it was 1,500 pages long. That's why they didn't want anybody to know what was in there. Of course, I'm nosy.
So where can people find this?
Okay, you can look at it on the usbudget.gov, and you can look up projected budget to 2026. Okay, between payroll tax and income tax, you're paying 15.8% tax. Corporate America, 1.2% tax. You will have no more deductions, which has already started.
Right.
Right now, part of it's already kicked in. Survivors benefits now, the people who get survivors benefits have to pay 4 times more taxes on their survivors benefits of military members. Yeah, that kind of insanity. So, yeah, that's another little stab in the veteran's back. But, no, that is in the usgovernment.gov, the usbudget.gov, and look up projection to 2026. And you will see it's almost completely gone, if not completely gone. You'll see it decreasing over the years.
And if I heard you right, you said Social Security is gone in 2026.
Pretty much, yeah. At least they were trying to get rid of it in 2026.
So if you guys think you have a homeless problem now, you wait till that happens.
Yeah, no
you
doubt.
You think there's not desperation now? Wait till then. Do you think what's going on in the Arab countries is bad? I will give you a cautionary tale. Right now, Puerto Rico, the government failed to help them. They have not been. Nothing's been done to help them. They're still in complete disaster. All the businesses are still down. No homes have been rebuilt. People are walking around the streets. They lost 50,000 law enforcement officers because they couldn't pay them. And they couldn't pay them. They joined the bad guys. Now everybody's killing each other to stay alive. That's a cautionary tale. That's what will happen here. If this continues to go, that's what's going to happen. That's why we got to stop it. We got to end it.
Now, that said, in your opinion, if you end up elected, do you feel you've got enough time to turn the tidal wave around to stop that disaster?
Yeah, it's called 4 years of locking them up. Pretty sure they're going to want to go home sooner or later. I mean, that's what I'm going to lock them up for. I mean, you don't want to work. You don't want to do your job. You want to play this game of playing campaign stuff. You want to pander to your corporate mongers. Fine, I'll lock you up and I'll throw away the key and you can stay there until I get kicked out in 4 years or I get out in 8 years. So you can stay there just as long as I'm there. But I'll get it done somehow.
So let's talk
See, people
about...
are not going to want to be locked up in that in session forever and ever. Amen. And anytime they try to turn around and make an amendment to the Constitution to stop that, I will turn around, I'll kick it out. I'll veto it. And I'll take it to the public that they don't want to work, and that's why they're trying to change it.
So what are your thoughts as a presidential candidate of all these government shutdowns that have been going on only to force your will?
800,000 jobs, are you serious? 31 days? Oh, yeah, they like it. They love it. No, seriously? These people have got to feed their families. Got to pay their bills. Really? No. You know what? They want to shut down the government. They don't get paid either. There's a clause in the Constitution in the United States that says that they get paid as long as government is open. So they can stay in session. They just don't get paid. No, we should never shut down the government. What the... To prove your point? About what?
Yeah, you'd think that would be classified as an essential service.
What's that?
I said you'd think having the government run would be classified as an essential service.
It is considered, an act of treason against the United States government. To shut down the government for your own personal gain is an act of treason against the United States government. It's a betrayal of the people. For 800,000, that was a betrayal of 800,000 people. And we're not talking about the social services that were shut down, that people couldn't get any services. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of federal institutions that needed it that were shut down because of it. People couldn't get their services. So that is an attack against the United States government, the Constitution. It goes against what you're elected there for. You're elected there for the people, not to shut them down, not to put them out of work. My God, that's insane. I don't have anything I don't have that much kind of narcissism in me. But if I had Congress and Senate play that game with me because I'm trying to get, common sense stuff to get for the people, they want to shut it down, then they don't get paid either.
And that leads right that leads right into my other point. So Congress was never established as a career.
No, it shouldn't have been.
Congress was established. There should be term limits on all Congress, on all politicians, just like there is a president. So how do we go back to term limits with congressmen?
Okay, first of all, when Congress and Senate was set up, you had to understand that the minimum age life expectancy was like 45 years old. If you're 90 years old and you're still in freaking session, you need to go away. I mean, you really do. And some of them that turn around and like that one senator that talked to those kids like she did, who were exercising their constitutional rights, has no idea what the Constitution says, and she needs to go away. No, there has to be term limits. There has to be. I mean, you can't do. I mean, there's 6 years. Every time you get elected, you got 6 years, and you shouldn't do any more than two terms. That should be that needs to be changed. That Congress cannot be and Senate cannot be more than 2 terms. I mean, that's ridiculous. And to make a lifetime out of it, that's nuts. Because they don't. Huh?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Supreme Court is also another one that should be limited. Oh, by the way, did you know that is not a lifetime thing? That they can actually be impeached. Yeah, Supreme Court justices can be impeached and kicked out. That's it.
Now that brings up my other point with health care, because we all know Congress doesn't abide by the general public's health care. They have their own health care program. What are we going to do about health care for the country?
It needs to be free. That's part of that. That's why I want those big taxes, because I want it free. Why should you pay for medical bills? But I will tell you a little secret about that. Where it's going to save us money is what they call preventive medicine. Preventive medicine will head off a disease before it becomes a financial drain. So we catch something early enough, we can take care of it before it becomes a real problem. But we should have free medical. They have it in every other country. Why not us? That doesn't make any sense. They're not doing well. You know what? You go to Canada, you go to England, you go to Germany, you go to Denmark, they're going to tell you, no, we like it. People are never sick over there because they got preventive medicine.
But you got to understand, in Canada at least, if they tell you we've got free medical up here, that would be a wonderful thought if I didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, you go to Germany. I wound up in the hospital in Germany, and because there was an accident, and I wound up in the hospital, and I said, I'm military. They said, no, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to pay for it anyway. So, I mean, it's not like this is where it gets a little sticky, because we have free medical. You're right. It can be abused. I agree. It can be abused. But we have so many people today that do not have insurance, can't afford insurance. My son-in-law just stepped on a nail, and he went in. All he wanted to have him, debrief the wound, clean the wound, and give him a tetanus shot. By the time he got out of there, he owed $2,000. He can't afford it because he couldn't afford the insurance. So now he's got to pay this freaking enormous sum. Then he's got to pay for the doctor. He's got to pay for the shot. This is insane. He's making minimum wage. How's he supposed to be able to afford that and feed his child and his wife? I mean, this is where, because he's making a few dollars too much, he can't get access. That's why he wound up having to pay the bill himself. Yeah, we have to have free medical because we have far too many people in this country who cannot afford insurance, who can't afford those doctor bills. And we have to, and we need to screw down on the freaking drug companies too. Those people, they need to be charged with freaking crimes. But no, we can do it. It's not impossible. It's been done all over the world. We can do it. You just got to turn around and kick the insurance companies in the cojones. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. So we've heard all of your viewpoints.
Okay.
How are you doing your campaign trail? Are you going to be traveling from state to state like all the other candidates? And
I will be.
And what's your plans on getting the word out?
Well, I'm doing Facebook right now because apparently, like I said, these corporations that own the talk shows and stuff, they don't want anything to do with me. So I've been doing Facebook, and I've been talking on that. And I've been, I try to get people to have the ability to ask me questions, like you're doing right now, which is wonderful. I mean, I love it. And every now and then I do get that, but when sometimes I strike a nerve and Facebook cuts me off, and they don't like what I said. No wonder. But the idea is that word of mouth, if we talk to each other, if we spread the word, that's how we get this done. Because I'm not taking any corporate money, and I know that I don't want the Democrats or the Republicans turning around and trying to finance me, because I don't want any part of them. They're the biggest part of the problem anyway. They're both as bad as the other. They forget the idea that when they raise that hand, they're no longer Democrats or Republicans. They still think they're a party member. They belong to the people now. So I don't want anything to do with that. But it's going to be from state to state as long as the money holds out, and then I got to wait until I get paid again, and I can refuel and keep going. But that's how we're going to do it. But I think we can do it. I really do.
Okay, so we got a question.
I mean, I've done.
Getting back to healthcare real quick. We got a question from Kayla in the chat room. Would your free medical would it cover prescriptions as well?
Of course, it's part of free medical. Why wouldn't it?
Okay.
I mean, like I said, we just, for the government to pay for it, we're going to go after the drug companies and come down on them. No more bad drugs. That's done. We're not going to let them sell any of that crap anymore that turns around and causes neurological problems that become permanent. I hate that stuff. But no, medicine's got to be free too. It goes with the territory.
Okay, let's shift.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's just right in the Constitution for the general welfare of the people. Education, medical, is general welfare of the people. And that's why they don't want you to know the Constitution. That's why they took it out of school. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. So shifting gears, let's talk Homeland Security. How do we protect our borders?
Okay, we use fences. We put better fences up. I mean, and we put seismic meters, which are cheap, that can register anybody digging within 3 inches and what direction they're coming and where they're going. We can put in thermal sensors along with motion sensors, which cost pennies on the dollar compared to a wall. We can use drones with thermal imaging. That if one of the alarms goes off, they can pop up. One of our boy guys can pop up one of those miniature drones. And as for if we have an influx of armed people like drug dealers and such, then we can turn around. We have our military doing training in that area anyway. They got to train anyhow. Why not put them in strategic locations? If our border guys come against somebody that's got an AK-47 in them, we have the forces there. According to the Constitution, that's an armed incursion, and the United States military has the authorization to repel an armed incursion. Now, if you got a sniper in the mountains, well, our gunships need target practice. I mean, you want to shoot at shoot at our people on the ground. I mean, we can shoot at you from the air. But it comes down to pennies on the dollar. All this is fractions, and it's far more secure. You ask any ops agent, they'll tell you they'd rather deal with a wall than technology. It's really extremely hard to beat technology. The thing about technology is you can't see it. So there's going to be no names on it. You can't put a nameplate on it because you can't see it. But that's some way. That is the way we do it. Use technology. Think smarter, not harder. You know, we do have to repair some fences, but if we put the technology in behind them, you know, the amount of people that are going to get across is so unlikely as not to even be registered. Because anybody crosses that border, they're going to be known about right away. The drones are going to be tracking them, and there's no way to get away. We can round up anybody that comes across, put them on a bus, and send them back.
Okay, so the other point I want to bring up with Homeland Security, though, we secure the borders. We know that. But what about the homegrown terrorists we already have here that some of us actually know we do have? You know, you've got religious extremists that are blowing up abortion clinics, shooting doctors. Do you think we need to come down harder on once these people are identified?
Yes. I mean, we can't be playing games with these people. If you're going to go to that kind of extreme, then you need to be dealt with.
Well, I find it very disappointingly fascinating that the different government agencies are in conflict with each other on who is doing what. You know, when it comes to investigations, from what I've seen, they seem to fight with each other over who's supposed to be doing it.
But that's why Homeland Security was established, was to have them all supposed to be working together. And all the agencies were under Homeland Security, but the CIA, which really annoys me because, that's the one agency that needs to be abolished. That's just my opinion, obviously. But
well, they do serve a purpose. However, with the kind of purposes they've been serving, it need to go away.
And I agree, because the CIA is supposed to be for non-border intelligence.
Right, not in the country.
Meaning foreign intelligence. And the FBI is supposed to be for national security or national intelligence. Right. But you're absolutely right. They don't talk because the FBI has got jurisdiction here. They've got an ego. Local law enforcement's not getting the intelligence they need from the FBI because, again, they've all got their own ego and their own jurisdiction. And oh my God, no, stay out of our crime because this is my town, and that needs to go away. Intelligence needs to be shared between.
Okay, let me put it this way: if there is somebody in charge that decides they're going to play that game, they're fired. You play nice with each other, or you're fired. Take your badge, put it on the desk, leave your gun behind, have a nice day, goodbye. You play nice. This is a country we're supposed to all be worried about protecting. You swore to protect the people, not your pride.
Take
your pride, leave it at the door, and work nice.
And that's initially why the fusion centers were actually created, was to create an intelligence sharing organization, essentially. But
that's why a lot of them are slipping through the cracks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they put private industry over the fusion centers. It should be federal over the fusion centers, not private industry. Get rid of private industry.
What the hell we got private industry involved in that anyway? I don't know.
Completely
we need to turn around. The FBI starts with the word federal. Okay? Your NSA starts with the word national.
Exactly.
Okay? These two words are the same word. They better get over it or they can go home. I'll put somebody in there that will. I don't want somebody that I don't want somebody in charge who's for the president. I want the DOJ to be responsible to the people. I don't want somebody in there to be responsible to me. I don't want an FBI head that's going to be responsible to me. They're responsible to the people, and if they don't perform for the people, they're gone. I will bring them in the office. I'll fire them on the spot. No, you play nice or you go home. There's no more. We can't afford this stuff. Get that. We got to stop this petty mindset. It's got to go away. far too much of that going on now. That's one of the reasons I don't like a political party. That's why the FBI has got to be run by somebody who's going to turn around and want to play nice with your Homeland, with everybody else. Okay, your local law enforcement has got to want to learn to be playing nice with each other.
See, the unfortunate part about the whole political party thing is my understanding is that the Democrats today are promoting the same thing the Republicans of 50 years ago were promoting, and vice versa.
Exactly. They did a flip-flop.
Well, the whole problem is that when they get in office, they don't realize they're no longer a political, they don't belong to a political party.
They belong to the people.
Right.
Well, it's good anyway.
No, they lost that right. The minute they raised their hand, you remember when we took our oath? We lost all our rights? Yeah, when they raised their hand, they lost that right to have a political party. They no longer have any rights. They belong to the people. Those rights went away when they raised their hand. Remember how it was for us? What rights did we really have? Talk back and see where that gets you. Try to freaking, try to do a sit-in and see how fast you wind up in the brig. Yeah, okay, court-martial city, right. Okay. Refuse to do something and see how fast you wind up in a court-martial. You lose those rights. The minute you take that oath, you lose those rights. You don't have that right. You serve the people.
So what do you think about... I'm thinking, so with technology, do you feel as the president, all of your, public interaction should be through Twitter? Or do you think all interaction with the White House should be through the press secretary?
The White House should be open to the people. You should be allowed to contact the president in whatever way matter that you see fit. Right? Tweet, Facebook, or whatever. I mean, a press secretary is only there to, talk while the president is busy. Otherwise, that president should be sitting there in front of people and answering the questions. And if somebody asks you a question that you don't like, that's just your damn bad. You can answer it anyway. Unless it's national security, then you can't. But otherwise, I don't see why anybody would turn around and throw a freaking reporter out when they have the right to be there. It's a First Amendment right. The duty of the president is to serve the people. You can't serve the people if you don't know what's going on. Now, yes, I know there's 370 plus million people. And 370 million plus people will probably be writing you or texting you or whatever. But you do the best you can. And it's the president's responsibility to be held accountable to the people. Now, you can't be held accountable to the people if you hold secrets, if you don't want to listen to them, if you don't want to talk to them. But that's not being accountable to the people. Kennedy had an open door policy, and I like that. I like that open door policy. I don't want closed door sessions unless it has to do with, things that are going on in combat zone or national security. But if it's something stupid, if we got, you got the Russians in there, the Chinese in there, no closed doors. They're open. Open door policy. Has to be. How are we going to get this country back if we don't have that kind of a policy? If you can't access your president, what good is he? I mean, seriously, what good is a president if you can't access him? You can't talk to him. I'm not saying go across the White House lawn. The Secret Service might be not take that too well, but I mean, contact him. As a president, yeah, I realize you can't answer everybody, but you can do the best you can. You have people that can go through, and most people all have the same problems, and the ones that you can put together the people who get the same problems and deal with it. Because that's what the president's for, to serve the people. I don't know if that answers the question.
Well, Joe's bringing up. Hold on, guys. I gotta scroll up real quick. Did you just say the First Amendment applies to whether or not a reporter is allowed in the White House?
Yes. Freedom of the press. Absolutely. Freedom of the press allows the reporters to ask and have questions answered. I'm not saying into the White House, but I'm saying into the press room, yeah. I don't know what secret would say about it, but
what were you saying?
I want to get your opinion, Chris, on a different subject completely, but I'm curious to know what your opinion is. As you know, there's a few states that have legalized marijuana. A lot of people use it. What?
That should be totally legalized. I mean, it is one of the least dangerous drugs out there. Alcohol is far more dangerous. Opiates are far more dangerous. Some of these pharmaceuticals are far more dangerous. I mean, and marijuana is not. Marijuana has a lot of medicinal values. You know.
So you did hear about this great grandmother in Florida that's being in trouble federally. She went to Disney World and had the bottle of the cream she used for arthritis, and now she's being charged federally for it. And so I do agree with you. All states should have it legalized.
It should be federally legalized. Not just states. I mean, federally legalized, totally legalized across the country. Doesn't make any sense. Of course, there is an age limit. Now, 18, you got to have a medical prescription. I'm sorry with kids like this, just the bottom line. If you're under the age of 18, sorry. I can't go that far. Go ahead.
What about, though, the fact that they have proven that reaction time is a lot slower when you are under the influence of marijuana? How would you think that would definitely, obviously, affect drivers? So how could you federally legalize something? And I'm for it, don't get me wrong, but how could you federally legalize that? Wouldn't you have to put some sort of a restriction on driving with it?
It's the same as alcohol.
Yeah.
You are intoxicated. If you are intoxicated, you're behind that wheel, you should not be there. It's a law. It's no different than alcohol. Why would you do that?
Why do a lot of people do things?
On your own.
Why do a lot of people do things? Why did we elect this president? Oh, did I say that?
I didn't. Don't blame me. I didn't do it.
I didn't either.
I'm innocent.
So Joe's in the chat room. He's going back to the freedom of the press. So his issue is the particular situation with the one reporter. If they are in the White House or the press room and they're rude, and he was kicked out for being rude, not necessarily a violation of First Amendment. Do you think there should be regulations on, if you're going to be rude, you should be gone?
Okay. First of all, you're a president. And if you can't deal with rude people, what the hell are you doing in that office anyway? I mean, you're going to have that no matter where you go, and I don't care who it is. You're always going to get rude people. And if you can't deal with rude people, I mean, but they should have at least a code of respect when they're there. I mean, that needs to be dealt with at their newsroom. I mean, their newsroom should give them a how you're supposed to conduct yourself. But his being rude, I think he was what we missed. He only saw the part where he was swiping, when that woman was trying to grab the mic from him, but what you didn't get was that he was asking the president a question, he refused to answer. And that's not something the president can do unless it's a matter of national security. And then he will say, I would say it's a matter of national security. At this time, I cannot say one way or another. When I can, I will. But no, I think the president instigated that mess. By being rude, you can't deal with a rude person. What the hell are you doing in the office? Come on, seriously?
And I would agree that should be handled at the press level, not the presidential level.
Right. The president, deals with the presidential level. The press corps needs to be dealt with at the press corps level. And he's got to be able to be jaded enough to to handle that. But from what I got, I saw the whole thing, and he was asking the president. I can't remember what the question was, but the president refused to answer the question. He says, "I'm not going to answer that." And he asked him again. He says, "I just told you I'm not answering that question." I can't remember what it was. And then that woman tried to grab the mic away from him. He turned around. He ordered him to be thrown out because he didn't want to answer the question. Now, who was wrong?
Well, that's not surprising from him.
No, but who was wrong there? Was the CNN reporter wrong, or was the president for telling him to throw him out?
He was wrong.
Exactly. First Amendment in the right.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the right to be rude too, by the way. That's why the president's got to just suck it up. Goes with the territory. Not everybody's going to like you.
Now,
answer the question, and he would have been done.
Mm-hmm.
If I was to sit here and tell you I'm not going to answer that question, it'd be rude to you and tell you to shut up. What the hell would that say about me?
I don't ask people what they say about me because I tell people regularly I'm not going to answer their question. Of course, I'm not a political party.
Well, I have had to do that in the military long enough. I had to do that when I was a parent, and I am now a grandparent, and I don't have to do that anymore.
But it was a press conference. He should have had some sort of an answer.
Yes.
Well, he had some sort of an answer. It just wasn't a really good one.
No, he just didn't want to answer. That was his answer. He didn't want to answer.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish I would remember what that was.
Yeah, Tripp's trying to remember what the question was in the chat room. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. Damn. I know it was something that, that he, that was that ruffled his feathers. And if somebody's asking me a question that ruffles my feathers, oh well, I'm going to answer it anyway. So whether I like the answer them or not, I'll give them the truthful answer.
Right. So we're coming down to the last 13 minutes of the show. Been a great show tonight. How can our listeners find out more about Christopher McCarthy?
Well, I'm on Facebook all the time. I try to get on at 8 o'clock every night, but, sometimes, things happen, and I wind up, having to go off in another direction at one time or another. But I'm usually on at 8 o'clock on Facebook. I also am on Twitter. From time to time, I pop up on Twitter. They can always find me on Facebook. And I bet you're going to ask me what my Facebook account address is, right?
Exactly.
You would ask me that. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, give me a second. I'll give it to you. You know what? I got this new fangled smartphone, and it's stupid as hell. Sorry about that.
And do you have a when are you going to start going out and talking to when are you going to start going on the candidate trail? Are you going to start traveling?
I've been having trouble finding a trail to a fifth wheel so I can put my... See, right now, I have a disaster response box on the back of my truck, but it's not going to make it across country. So I'm going to have to take that off. I have to have a trail suitable to put that back in there because I want that in case something horribly wrong goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that figures. That figures.
And do you have a presidential campaign page up yet?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook. One minute. I'm trying to find out where I found the address of this stupid thing. Yeah, it just tells me my name. It doesn't give me my address. I have to use. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Officer, and he works night shift. One night he was at work.
That was about Trump. Okay. That's my Gmail account. That's my... That's a Frontier account. There's got to be someplace where this is at.
And my daughter and I were home alone.
Ugh. Do I ever listen to this guy? No, I don't.
Curiosity, Chris. You're in Chattanooga right now?
What's that?
I said, you're in Chattanooga right now?
No, I'm in Arizona.
He's in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, as soon as we find his campaign page, we'll put it up on the S4.
One of you guys contacted me and saw my video. Who was it? Right. I know I talked to him. I was talking to him last night.
Yeah.
And yes, Eric Cooper. He found me. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, it's me.
You're talking to him.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you found me on my webpage.
Okay.
On my Facebook
So
account.
I'll make sure we get your campaign information up on both Forest Moon Paranormal as well as the S4 Facebook page and get your information out there.
All right, I appreciate that, buddy. I hope I answered all your questions.
You did great.
I know some of them, you might not have liked, and some of you did, but I have to be honest. I
can't. That comes from the territory.
I got a 23. I got a 23-part platform, and all that stuff is in it. There's a few minor modifications. One of about my immigration platform is first question: do you want to be a citizen? No. Goodbye. Yeah, I mean, if you're an immigrant, you get caught here, and and they say, do you want to be a citizen? They say, no. Goodbye. Go home. Well, why do you want to be here if you don't want to be a citizen? And I didn't have that in my platform. And my dear friend from Australia, I had a friend of mine from Canada. We came up with my slogan was United People's Alliance, UPA, Upward America. Let's rebuild America. And I had one from Australia that was talking to me, and she gave me another thing last night about monorails. She's from Australia. Good idea. Cut down on the power needed to run our trains, and they're far more safe. So yeah, these are things that I've tweaked because certain people have given me ideas. And I give them credit to where credit is due. Like I said, that one came from one guy, here in the country. I can't remember who it was. He said, why don't you turn around and first ask them if they want to be a citizen? Good idea. It wasn't mine, but it's a good idea. Wish I thought of it. But UPA, Upward America, United People's Alliance. We need to reunite. This country needs to unite. It's been torn apart too much. Too much politics, too much hate, too much religion, too much everything. The only way to fix it is to unite.
And with that, I completely agree. So, Cole, where can we find Statement of Sound DJ services?
What's that?
You can find us at www.facebook.com/SOSDJPro, or you can find me at 360-999-2830.
Outstanding. And Keith, where can we find your books, and what's your book tour going to be?
Well, the books you can get you can find me on Inner Voice Enterprises at yahoo.ca, or you can find me on Facebook, also as Ronald Keith Andrews. As far as the book tour goes, we should be putting the first of the novels in print within the month here. I just have to finish 2 minor things, then send it to print. And considering the money's already sitting in the bank to do the printing, that should make that easy.
Yeah, sounds awesome. So I want to thank our crew tonight: Cole Wegleitner, FMP Culture and Lore Research Specialist, owner of Statement of Sound DJ Services; our Keith Andrews, our Alien Race Specialist. Make sure you go check out the new FMP and S4 store. And we have both Chris and Brent tonight. Chris came in later. So Chris from the Extended Care team and Brent from the Astral team. So next week,
I want to thank everybody for having me on.
Oh, you were awesome.
Thanks for joining.
And next week we have our May roundtable. So make sure you check out S4 next week for the roundtable. And
good luck on your campaign. You're going to need it.
Thank you very much, and good luck in your station there. It sounds really nice.
Outstanding. So, all right,
very interesting.
Folks, keep your eyes to the skies. Have a safe week, and we'll see you next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on S4, the official voice of Forest Moon Paranormal. You can contact S4 through our website at www.s-4radio.com or on Facebook. Make sure you give us a like on our page and join the Forest Moon Paranormal group. If you are interested in advertising, take a look at our packages and contact Cole or Eric at 1-360-999-2830. Again, thank you. And remember, keep your eyes to the sky.